So you're 27, 28, 29, preparing for your glorious entrance into your 30s. You've heard so much about what being a 30-year-old is all about, from the expectations, the opportunities, the freedom you even have once you are within this new age. You've heard all of it. But nobody really tells you about what and what you should be avoiding, once you are getting close to this new age, or even if you're already there, so that you set a better foundation for the experiences you're going to be having. To be honest, I wish I had someone who told me these things early on, so I would have not fallen into the traps that I did. But since I had to learn the hard way, that is why I'm here to help you avoid falling into the same trap that I did. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 7 mistakes you should definitely be avoiding before you eventually turn 30. Even if you're already in your 30s, to have a much better experience, you should definitely be avoiding these mistakes. So the very first one is, don't wait to experience it. Use other people's experiences as examples. This ties to the entire reason for this video in the first place. Don't allow, something to happen to you before you learn your lessons, when you can learn it from somebody else around you whom you seen the same thing happen to. This was something I had to learn the hard way, especially, when it comes to our relationship with our friends, our families, or even people around us. There are so many stories we hear these days on social media, or even see it, up close and personal. Instead of us to now take it as an example and avoid it, we now neglect these lessons we should have learned the easy way, and then repeat the same thing. We now start regretting why we allowed ourselves to fall into the same trap that we could have easily gotten over, because we have already seen it happen to someone in the first place. Don't end up saying, had I known, when you should have been able to avoid something easily, because you already saw the thing happen to someone. Why don't you learn your lesson from seeing that thing happen to that person, instead of allowing yourself to experience it first before you can now learn your lesson finally? Most of us tend to learn the hard way. That is why I'm telling you now, if you've not, clocked 30, because there are so many things you are going to be experiencing once you are within this new age, it is better you are prepared, for these experiences than you fall face flat into it without knowing what to expect, because there are so many things, especially your relationships will be tested. Like, sometimes your mental health will be at stake because of the things, you just see here and there. But then, instead of allowing yourself to, have to experience the thing personally, you can learn from, others that have experienced it. Just like myself now that I'm telling you, most of the things I'm going to be sharing with you now, I've experienced it. That's why I'm here to now tell you, avoid them so that you can have a better experience, especially when it comes to friendship. There are so many things that will test your mental health, so you should better be prepared. So the second one is to enjoy your period of singleness. At the point I am now, almost 33, I'm not yet married. I can say I'm ready to settle down now, and that is just because I did not force marriage onto myself early on. I allowed myself to enjoy every bit of the period of my singleness. When I was single, I would travel solo, visit restaurants, and I would do everything that some people would say they can't do without a partner. I would do everything solo, and I learned to enjoy my own company, which ultimately led me to learn so much about myself, the things I like and the things I don't like. Now that I have a partner, I can now do these things with my new partner, while I'm learning to enjoy being with somebody, this new phase now, enjoying it better with somebody. But before now, I've already learned to do these things on my own. So, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. So if you're not yet in a relationship, learn to enjoy your own company, and you will get to understand yourself better. You get to know who you are as a person. Then, whenever something happens, maybe in your relationship with your partner, maybe your significant other is misbehaving, you will not, feel like you need to be in that relationship with that person, because you've not depended solely on that person in the first place. You've already learned how to be on your own in the first place. So when you now find that your partner is misbehaving at any point in your relationship, you can easily say, okay, I can let this person go, because you've not tied your everything to being with that person. And since you know your worth, and you will know what you can tolerate in your relationship and what you cannot tolerate. So next is to learn personal finance. If there's anything I can sing about from now till tomorrow, it is the fact that before you turn 30, you need to understand money. Know how it works. You don't need to be an accountant to know how money works. Just know the basics of how money works. Just simple things like how to budget when you receive your monthly salary, setting money aside for emergency fund, the fact that investing is the only way you can consistently make money. You can also check out my other video where I talked about, how I make extra income doing nothing. That should help you get started. Ultimately, knowing that money can, only be made through compounding and some other things I might not mention in this video. But knowing these little things, about money can set you up to have a more successful experience in your 30s. And this is just as important as every other thing you might be planning, or preparing for once you turn this new age. Money is very important. It will form a huge part of, your experience during this phase of your life. You might have, had experience with money here and there, especially in these times where, more younger people are able to make money. But when you're in your 30s, you now have, more important decisions to make, especially when it has to do with money. You now have to start thinking of, your future. What if I'm laid off job? What if this happened? What if? So money now plays a huge role in this new phase of your life. So you should get prepared, before you get to your 30s, so that you are not taking unawares and it now feels like you don't really know how to manage your own money. Just knowing the basics is enough. You don't need to be an expert on money management, but knowing the little things you need to do, at least when your income comes, knowing what to do about it is very important for this new phase you are about to enter. This one, only take advice from people who are in the position you wish to be in. So in this new phase of social media, where social media feels like king, every Tom, Dick, and Harry just feels like they can, advise you on something. One thing or the other, they're always advising you on it. You should not, allow yourself to be easily distracted, because there are so many advice on how to be successful in life, how to be successful in your career, how, to do this, do that, especially marriage and relationship. So many advice. But if you look carefully, the person that is even advising you should not be anywhere near a mic or any platform, as influential as social media, now passing this message through to you in real life, that they don't have the experience, but they are just advising you because they've gotten the platform, or they've eventually had a following to now advise you on things. Because if you look at it, there are so many advice out there. You now have to start filtering who is saying the right thing, who is not saying the right thing. And if you're not careful, this can eventually influence the decisions you make, even in your relationships especially. Because you now see social media has been taken over by so many things concerning relationship. Everybody is now advising everybody on how to have a successful relationship. But back home, they don't even have a successful relationship themselves. This was something I had to, find out the hard way, because there are so many people telling you this, that, until I know that you've experienced the thing I'm asking you advice on, I will not even think of asking you the advice in the first place, because I know that you don't have the experience. You've not experienced it. Like, how do you now know what to tell me about? Just like I'm talking about in this video now. Because I had to learn the hard way, I had to fall for so many, advice that were not of any use to, the situation I was trying to get advice for. You now end up regretting, listening to these so-called experts. But just like the first mistake we talked about avoiding, you don't have to experience it, before you learn your lesson, because there are so many, lessons around these days. So before you allow yourself to, discard important things in your life because you listen to somebody advise you about it, ask yourself, like, what visible experience does this person have that, is to justify them advising you? That should help you decide whether you should take the advice or not. So next is, don't procrastinate important decisions. I have time should be the last thought in your mind when it comes to making important decisions, because girl, you don't have enough time. Don't allow anybody to deceive you that you have enough time. If you want to confirm this, just look back on the things you've said, okay, I'm going to achieve at this particular time, and check how far you've come in achieving them, because you are procrastinating and believing you still have time. I made this mistake, my mother made this mistake, and so many of us make this mistake and continue to make this mistake, like this one. When I was in university, I can remember I listened to my mother several times saying, like, I'll get my master's degree. She wanted to get a master's degree. She would say it a million times. But now I have my own master's. I have worked for 5 years. And even after that master's, I'm still waiting for my mother's master's. This is how interesting it is. This is the case for many of us. We plan so many things we want to achieve, only to procrastinate, doing them. I have another video on how to, handle procrastination, because it is something that, affect so many of us. I'll link all these videos below, so make sure to go and check it out and see how you can help yourself to handle procrastination, because being in your 30s or getting close to your 30s, that should be the last time you should even say you have time, because girl, believe me, you don't have time. Like, I had to learn this the hard way. Now I have to make, prompt decisions, because if I procrastinate, I know that there's no time for me to go back and take care of that. So it is all about go, go, go. You might not be old, but that does not mean you are young either. So you have to learn this hard truth. Sometimes we try to deceive ourselves, have time, but before you know, you're already 40. As those that came before you, they had to learn the hard way. I myself, I'm still learning, but it is something that I feel like we should all avoid if we are to have better experiences in this phase of our lives. Avoid procrastinating your goals and tasks, because it can result to missed opportunities and regrets, which usually follows. Next is to start taking your health seriously early on. I can eat whatever I want because I'm young. Sorry, gangster. If you neglect your body in your 20s, trust me, it will come biting you in your 30s, early 30s, even in your late 20s, you have started feeling it. I went to boarding school and ate all manner of things then. I was so happy that, I could carry 8 sets of provision to school. Only, a term I will finish it, thinking that my uncle will buy another one for me. I felt like I was enjoying at that phase in my life, not knowing that I was setting up myself for a battle ahead. 15 years later now, after boarding school, now I'm battling with, losing weight every day. I keep having to look for this, that, just to help me lose weight. This is the story of many of us. So it's better you start taking care of your health seriously now. Minding what you are eating, minding what you are doing, because, before you know, that age that you're thinking will never come will just catch up on you, and your knees will start hurting. So many things will start hurting you. Now start wondering, is it this early that this thing starts occurring in our bodies, especially as ladies? Our health is very important, and it catches up on us very early. So if you're not careful, you might fall into the trap of wounded knees, or your knees hurting even in your late 20s, because you did not take your health seriously. So whether you're 20 or 29, taking your health seriously, do check up every 2 years, make it a must-do activity, and you will see that the difference, it will make a huge difference in your life. So 4 years ago, I told my friend that, we should start doing this health checkup, full body checkup. And since then, it has made a huge difference in the way we approach food, exercise, and our health in general. Let me tell you how vital it is to take care of your health or do this health checkup is. So the first year we started doing this health checkup, full body checkup, my friend who, did little or no exercise was told that she had to stop taking coffee because, the echo they had done on her heart, the result was that she should avoid taking coffee because it was, showing in her result of when they did the echo on her. So if you did not know, echo is the procedure they used to do heart checkup. So they check your heart if it is beating properly and all those tests to know if you have a healthy heart overall. But it was interesting where me, who lives for drinking coffee every day, was not advised the same thing. And I want to believe it was because, I made sure I exercise every 3 times, at least 3 times a week. So if we had not gone for that checkup, my friend would have not known that, this was something that she had to avoid, because she just drank coffee normally, not knowing the implication it was even having on her. But because we had to go for that, first checkup, she had to find out about that. But interestingly, when we had the next checkup now, 2 years later, that was not the same thing that was said. So if she had not stopped it then, maybe it would have still had the same results in this last checkup that we had to do. So having your health checkup every 2 years, every 2 years, at least I believe that is the recommended time you should, always have your checkup, is very important for you, because your age will catch up on you. But if you know these things, if you are very active in knowing what is happening in your body, you can discover them fast and start taking care of them, instead of allowing diseases and whatnot to catch up to you, because you never really care to know what is happening in your body. So last is to filter your friendship. You are the average of the 5 people you keep as friends. Even though I had this from another creator on this platform, it made so much sense, because the friends you make and the friends you keep can influence the future you eventually have. You can be saying A, B, C, while your friend is telling you something else. Your friend is saying no, it is FGH. If you want to have a mediocre life, then allow just about anybody into your life. But if you want to have a life that is purposeful, that is intentional, be intentional about the friends you keep. This is very important, especially when you're about to turn 30 or you're already 37 and you are in a phase where, friendship can impact the future and your general well-being. I had to learn so many hard truths about friendship, while in this new phase of my life or in this period of my 30s. I even made another video about how to know, toxic and insecure friends, because they are a huge part of our lives in these days. You find your friend being jealous of your achievements, or your friend even being the source of your stress, which should not be so. You should be, celebrating each other's wins. But because I had to learn these hard truths when I'm already, in my 30s. I had to, learn the hard way. That is what I'm telling you now. If you are still in your 20s or you are leading up to your 30s and you're just still having, friends that are okay, you're just there, you're just friends for, going to restaurants, friends for taking pictures. Before you turn 30, once you're getting close to 30, better drop those friends and make new ones, because they can impact your experience in your 30s. And your 30s is not the time that you start, just making friends for going to restaurants and taking pictures. You have to make intentional friends that will push you towards your purpose, that will, make your journey easy. But if you eventually cut off those friends that, are not of any impact in your life, you find that, naturally they will just, if they don't align with what your future is supposed to be, just allow them to naturally cut off. Don't, force yourself to be friends with these people because, you've had history or you've made memories together. Yes, cherish the memories you've made, but that does not mean you should keep friends that will not aid your journey to the place you envision for yourself, because you are just setting yourself up for failure. Your friends have a huge impact in your life. If you have mediocre friends out of your 5 friends, you eventually be mediocre. I was listening to the audio version of the book Still Like an Artist by Austin Kleon, and he was talking about how your salary is the average of the 5 people you have in your life. So if you measure your friendship and find that out of your 5 friends and you see that, they are just, your friendship is just there, they are not really impacting much in your life, you either have to make additional friends to balance out, these ones, or you can just leave these ones and move on to friends that will impact your life. Make intentional friends. Be intentional about making friends. Go to places where have the type of friends you want. This cannot be easy, trust me, I know, but making this decision early on will save you a whole lot of stress and will save you a whole lot of setbacks. I had to learn the hard way. Trust me, you need to make these decisions early on. So guys, while I'm sharing these mistakes with you, based on the experience of others, some from my own personal experience with some of these mistakes that I've just mentioned in this video, this is not to say that I'm living a perfect life now. It's just to tell you that I'm still learning to adapt my new life, making better decisions that will give me a more happier future while I'm currently navigating this world of the millennials. So I'll see you guys in my next video. I hope this video has given you more reason to make better decisions, more reason to think of the things you need to avoid, so that you can have a more blissful experience in your 30s, because this is an important phase of your life. Many of us had to learn the hard way, but that does not mean that you too have to do the same. Now that I've told you about these things, make sure to avoid them so that you can have better experience and your overall well-being will be taken care of, and you will live a more happier and a more fulfilling experience in your 30s. So guys, I'll see you in my next video. Please make sure to click that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And adios. Bye.